So we're having this nice Sunday afternoon at the Bitcoin Embassy here in Amsterdam, and this was an ad hoc meeting here with Pavel from Ukraine. I know you've been working for Stellar, but I'm much more interested in what you're working for now. You're working at a new company. What is that?
Okay, my name is Pavel Kravchenko. Yes, I'm from Ukraine. I have background in information security and cryptography. That was my job for a long time. And since last year I joined Bitcoin community as a researcher and a cryptographer. Yes, I worked at Stellar for almost 9 months. And beside this I've done a lot of seminars all around the world about Bitcoin and even created a university course about that. And half a year ago I joined a startup called Tembusu Systems, which is building cryptocurrency protocol, a transaction engine that has built-in features to support both anonymity and KYC.
KYC, so that's what the governments want. It's the know your customer stuff. How can you do that in a system? Does that mean that the government in your system can look to all the transactions? How does that work a little bit?
So the aim is to build decentralized KYC, and there are a few requirements to this system that we basically try to achieve. First of all is that only registered users should be able to transact, register in a general sense. The second thing is that anonymity should be preserved, privacy of user spending should be preserved in a blockchain. So companies that do blockchain analysis should not be able to see who is doing what, and banks and businesses should not be able to see what they are doing on the blockchain. And the third requirement is that the government of the country you are living in should be able to see are you compliant with the current regulation or not. So basically you have to provide a proof that you haven't done anything bad in case of some suspicious activity.
So what are you saying? I go to the government and they register me into your system?
The simplest example is that when you join the system, you basically have to provide data about yourself, you have to provide some documents, and then you establish a key pair. And the private key of it allows you to produce a proof of identity, a proof that you are registered with a certain organization.
Okay, so I prove that I registered with a certain government.
Yeah, it might be government, it might be enterprise, it might be a local group. Certain proof. Like we try to.
So I can register with multiple groups, governments and companies and banks or whatever at the same time.
Yes, the platform, the case with governments I use it as an example. It's just easier to understand. But we just built a protocol and a platform, and it allows you to create your own user scenarios because it will be open source and you can build use cases that you need. So yes, after receiving this key, that's a key from a group signature, a technique that allows you to sign on behalf of the group. You are able to attach this proof to any transaction you send to the network, and then any third party or miner or processing node or your neighbor is able to see, okay, somebody from this group initiated this transaction, but nothing else. But your government, if you registered with it, is able to see who exactly made the transaction. And in this way, the business that serves this kind of customers can be compliant with the local regulation.
Okay, so you get a two-tiered system. You get that the government or the bank or the company or so can look at your transactions, and I cannot look.
Yeah, nobody else, like third-party observer, should not be able to do that. And it's clear that only your group manager, your government or your boss will be able to do that, not the other one. And it's also important to say that only user should be able, only user controls their private keys. So nobody can impersonate users in the system.
Okay. Can I impersonate the government?
No.
So I hear in the news now is a new country being formed, Liberland.
No.
How do they then add themselves to the system?
Yeah, they have to create a group. That's basically a process which is external to the system. But then they have to add their public key of the group to the processing nodes that currently run the protocol. The use case for them might be that it's also supported by the system, that you can build a group where the government, like I call this government, it's just easier to grasp the idea. The group manager is able to add users to the group or to remove users, to revoke users to the group. But group manager is not able to see, to reveal the initiators of certain transactions. In this case, like Liberland can build a system where all citizens of Liberland join the system, and only and it will be seen that okay, somebody from Liberland transacted, and nobody, including government, is not able to see who is sending money to whom.
Okay, so they see they are from Liberland, but they don't know who from Liberland.
Yes.
Okay, so that's interesting. But now you're saying also the government cannot see.
Yes, it's also another use case. It's supported by cryptography tools, techniques. You can build this type of group as well. Yes.
So I see groups, governments, one kind of group. The banks, other groups. Something you mentioned during the meeting was maybe even companies that have their own private currencies and point systems and other stuff.
Yeah.
This is only about knowing who you are transacting with, or that you are a certain group. So, what is this? Is this about the international transactions that you're talking about?
It could be even like this. So, if the transaction crosses the border of the group, you have to have, in some jurisdictions, you have to have both proof of identities of sender and the recipient, and both of them will be attached to the transaction. It will look like BIP70 protocol, where the recipient has to sign the request to receive money.
To prove who he is.
Right. Yeah. And in this request, the proof of identity of recipient will be included.
Okay, so then you have both the recipient and the sender also a proof, not of identity, but group membership.
Proof of identity. Proof of membership. Exactly.
It's really like I'm a member of a whitelist, essentially.
Yes.
I can understand how this works, in that they can have certain jurisdictions. When you talk about governments, I can understand that you can have that with banks. But one of the things that I keep on feeling like is, why would I want to even participate in that? If we already have Bitcoin and stuff like that, would I want to do that? Is that only when I want to be a nice citizen, pay my taxes and show everything? Or is that the other side, that maybe the people I buy stuff from will refuse Bitcoin but only accept it if it has your extra signature attached to it?
Yeah, the initial goal was to build an electronic money system that preserves users' privacy. Because if you think about any electronic money system that exists right now, Visa, MasterCard or something else, then everybody except merchant and the company itself sees your spendings. And especially if it's a public blockchain that everybody can see that. So ensuring privacy is very important here. So the goal was to build an electronic money system that uses the principles of cryptocurrency: transparency, decentralization, security, speed, but at the same time provides an ability to anonymize your spendings. But electronic money system usually is installed and approved by the government, so they should be able to transact, should be able to see. But right now, not only government who is requiring to track payments, but everybody else is able to access your data. They can buy this data on the black market, or banks can just lose it, or so it's imperfect.
So if I understand, your system keeps this information private. You cannot lose it easily unless some government loses its keys. But also you have some two-tiered system, that you have the normal people transacting, and you have something like a government that can look into the transactions.
Yeah, but people are free to join any group they like like to, basically. I try not to talk about the political consequences, but rather about technology. So you can build any use case you want. It can be ad hoc groups. For example, I think that in the future we'll have a support of ring signatures, where you can build your own group. Again, nobody from this group will be able to see what they're doing, but if you're a member, you're able to sign on behalf of this group. And this group will be like many groups, like a group of Bitcoin Embassy, a group of people who like this restaurant, and so on and so forth. And
just knowing that I'm a member of a group, I can give certain possibilities, like just transacting, but maybe is it also possible to just say, oh, then automatically he has to pay 10% less?
It's the perfect example is showing your ID in the bar. You don't want bartender to see who you are. Just the needed information is that you are under 18. So it's the showing that you're a member of the group. That is important, not your identity. So that could be other use case.
Okay. Something entirely different that we just happen to be talking about, and that's more one of the things that I like to talk about. You are making yet another new protocol, another new blockchain, I understand, and there's so many coming this year. How is this going to work together? I mean, I get the feeling that people saying this is the year that Wall Street enters Bitcoin, but I've got the impression that this is the year that fragmentation is entering the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah, I feel that too. What I think is important is to build a set of standards, because obviously one protocol cannot cover all the use cases. You probably will have a standard for financial transactions and digital asset transfer, like SWIFT and B, but that will be supported by everybody.
But all those protocols already do transactions and spreading them. So is this about something between all the chains? Or should they all use the same technology?
You cannot cover everybody with the same technology probably, but it's interesting to see what will happen. We definitely will need a cross-chain protocol that will unite all of them, but it means a lot of integration works and
politics probably, huh?
Politics as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was the Bitcoin Embassy.